Hey guys, it's Pinkstar and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be doing my February wrap up. So this is all the books that I read in February. I actually ended up reading a different one to what I had on my TBR because I finished an audiobook and then I had time to listen to another audiobook, and none of the books that I had on my TBR were available on audiobook, so I read something else, and I did unfortunately not read my Brandon Sanderson book of the month. So already failing my goals for the year, but it's fine, it happens. So I have rolled over the first Mistborn book to March. If you've watched my March TBR, you would have seen that. But yeah, other than that, I still ended up reading 6 books because I did read that extra book on audio. So yeah, let's get on with the wrap up. Alright, so first off was my audiobook that I read, and that was The Skull Throne. This is the 4th book in the Demon Cycle series, and I did enjoy this one, but not as much as the previous ones. I still gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, though I was possibly thinking 3.5 for a little bit, but the ending brought it back up again. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's slightly dragging a little bit now, which is why my score wasn't as high. Yeah, but there was a lot of deaths in this one. And there was, like, yeah, as I said, a really good ending that sets up for the last book. So yeah, it was really good. I just didn't like this one as much as the previous books. And as I said, I feel like the series is starting to drag a little bit. I feel like they possibly could have just done this whole series in like 3 books and just condensed it down a little bit, because there is quite a bit of waffle happening, which reminds me a little bit of The Witcher when that happens. So they just waffle on about stuff that's not really important. So yeah, but anyway, I did still really enjoy this book. As I said, 4 out of 5 stars. Alright, next up I read The Fated and the Damned by Chloe Hodge. This was the second and final book to The Curse and the Broken, which I read last year. I gave that one a 3.5 stars, and I also gave this one a 3.5 stars. I was hoping it'd be a little bit better, but I think it's just the whole witchy thing again. I'm not big on the witchy thing. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Also, the fact that the main girl was kind of overpowered a little bit. There's some people yelling outside, which is not fantastic. So hopefully you don't hear them. But anyway, yeah, also I just felt like there were some unnecessary sex scenes in this, just a bit much. You know, I'm happy to have sex scenes in my fantasy romance. I mean, it's expected, but sometimes it just gets a bit much and repetitive, so that's probably the one thing that I disliked. Also found it just kind of wrapped up pretty quickly. But yeah, other than that, I did enjoy it. I do like the characters, especially the main male character, the like love interest. I really like him. So yeah. Right, next I read One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did enjoy this one. This was also a 3.5 stars out of 5. Yeah, this was just like a nice romancy story. It was very predictable though, which was kind of the downside. But I really like Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing style. It's just really easy to read, and you just really get to know the characters really well. I just didn't really like the main character that much. I found her to be a little bit annoying with her back and forward, but it's pretty much just like a love triangle where she's married to a guy who disappears, and then she thinks he's dead, and then she's about to marry somebody else, and then finds out that the other guy is actually still alive, like 3 years later or something? Yeah. Then she's torn as to what she's going to do, whether she stays with her current guy that she's engaged to, whether she goes back to her husband. And yeah, I don't know, it was interesting to see how she was going to choose, and it was interesting to think like what I would do in that sort of situation, but she just kind of annoyed me a little bit the way she went about it. But I did enjoy the story. I gave it, as I said, a 3.5 star rating, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading some more of Taylor Jenkins Reid's work. I've only read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and this one. I do have Daisy Jones and the Six pre-ordered from my library, so I'm looking forward to giving that a read, especially before the movie comes out. So yeah. Alright, next is the book that I didn't have on my TBR, but I read on audiobook, and that is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is my first V.E. Schwab book, and I did really enjoy this one. I gave it a 4-star rating. It was just really well done. It was not actually what I expected. I didn't expect the main character to be mute for a start, and it just had such a creepy vibe about it, and the story was just really interesting. It wasn't super amazing, and it was very short. I would have liked a little bit more like history and backstory and things possibly, but then I don't know if that would have worked very well. But I did like getting some of the backstory through the journal entries from her mum. So yeah, I did really enjoy this one. It was good to listen to. I quite enjoyed the audiobook, and I'll definitely be reading some more of V.E. Schwab's works. I've been wanting to pick up Adèle Leroux for a long time, so I might have to look at getting that sooner rather than later. Alright, second to last, I read Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I did really enjoy this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I was slightly considering giving it 4.5, but we gave it a 4. It wasn't as good as the first one. The thing is, the first one was definitely had that dark academia feeling, and this one definitely went a lot more into like the paranormal with like hell and things, and it got very weird, and I didn't like the repetitive nature of what they were doing. If you haven't read Ninth House, I don't want to spoil anything, but pretty much this one centers around them needing to go to hell essentially, and they end up doing the same ritual a couple of times, and I just felt like it was quite repetitive in that nature. But other than that, I did really enjoy it, and I am really looking forward to what happens in the next one. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. The bunny definitely makes sense after reading it, so that's good. But yeah, I did enjoy this. I just felt like it didn't feel as much of the school academia feeling as the first one did. This one's definitely more on the paranormal fantasy side of things, but I did really enjoy it, and yeah, definitely still one of my favorite series so far. Alright, and lastly, I read The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. This was an ARC book that I received, and it's also one of my most anticipated books of the year so far, and this was weird. I don't know, it took me so long to work out how to rate this. I almost DNF'd it at one point. Like the first half of the book, I was like, what on earth is going on? It just felt like there was not really a plot as such. It's very gothic fantasy, and the writing style is very flowery. So this is like purple prose to the max, there was some like nice like writing in it. I didn't like enjoy some of the writing, but at the same time I was so confused as to what on earth was going on. The main character is a psycho, and yeah, it's pretty much written from two characters' point of views. The husband, who is never named, he's just called the bridegroom, and Azure is the other character that we read perspectives from. And so the bridegroom marries Indigo, and we get to see his story, which is pretty much follows like the now timeline of him marrying her, and then we follow Azure's story, which is the backstory of when Azure and Indigo were children. And so it's just following them and how they behave and what they do as they're growing up. And yes, as I said, it was just really weird up until the very end, and then I really liked the ending. So I did give it 2.5 stars out of 5. I don't know, I couldn't recommend this book. I know some people absolutely love this and they've been giving it 5 stars. It's not really my style. I don't really like purple prose that much. It gets really waffly and confusing. There was one line in the book and I was like, what does that even mean? It was so weird, like the analogies that they used for things. I'm like, what? But yeah. Anyway, I am slightly scared now about reading The Gilded Wolves after reading this, because I thought I would love this and I just didn't. I think it wasn't what I expected it to be, is the other thing. I don't know why. I thought it was not going to be anything like this. This was completely different to what I imagined, and it was weird and creepy. It was definitely all about the vibes, like the gothic vibe. Yeah. Anyway, if you like gothic fairy tale sort of stories, then you might like it and give it a read, but it definitely was not for me. Alright, so that was all the books that I read in February. It's currently March. It's actually the 14th of March when I'm filming this, which is my birthday. Yay! But yeah, so it's taken me a while to get this up. I actually finished The Last Tale of Flower Bride on like the 6th of March. It took me a while to get through. It's such a short book, but it took me so long to get through because it's just hard to read. Yeah, so that is it. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts were. I'd love to know, especially if you've read The Last Tale of Flower Bride. Did you like it or did you not? I don't know. Anyway, that is it for this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos, and I will catch you guys all in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.